All right, folks. Now you're listening to the second half, the recorded part of the program. So I can bring in the great Jamie Pags, the Philly sports guy, who is getting very famous. Okay. So let's have a round of applause for him. Man, it's good to see you again, buddy. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Robert. Thank you for having me and fitting me in. I tell you, I didn't realize how tough this was going to be.
Yeah. Yeah. You know something? Let me ask you on a serious note before we get started here. I was thinking about you Friday night, man. It's a plane crash up there in Philly. Did you have any relation to that? You familiar with the area? Any friends or anybody affected by that?
Luckily, I did not.
Okay.
At least that wound up in the tragedy.
Yeah.
I have had friends that were there covering it and cleaning it up and things like that.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it's such a sad situation.
Yeah.
I know that they're coming out with some details now about kind of what happened, and that something about the batteries and got involved with the oxygen, and it's just a really sad situation. But
Yeah.
it's luckily I didn't have anybody who I was very close to affected by that, but it's a very scary situation.
Yeah, I saw some of the videos, man. Now, so many people got cell phones now, and it exploded. That plane essentially exploded. It looked like a bomb, man. You know?
Well, it had just taken off. It was literally, It was a smaller plane. It was a medical plane. So
yes.
The explosion between the oxygen and it was full of fuel. It was just I think everything all at once, and it. You've seen the videos. It looks like it fell from a stone from the sky.
Yes.
So it's really a shame.
The oxygen tank was on the plane. Is that so? That's where the case is now.
So I don't know all of the details. Yeah. What I heard was that the batteries of the plane caught on fire.
Oh,
and
wow.
It messed with the I could be off. I don't want to speak out of turn here.
Well, it did look like it was on fire when it was going down.
Correct. So, and that's what caused the fire. Anybody who knows anything of science, oxygen and fire don't mix really well, or actually mix too well. They mix too well. And that's what made it look like it was a fireball in the sky. And unfortunately, it's like I said, it was.
You familiar with that area? It's by a mall, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh yeah. I mean, it's not far. It's not too far away, but that's like a major highway. That Cottman and the Boulevard. That's like a spot that is well known. So it's like when you name that in Philly, like if you're going, hey, where you at in Philly? I'm near Cottman and the Boulevard. That's an area. So
everybody knows what that is.
100%. If you're in Philadelphia, you've heard that saying before. So like I said, it was a war zone. It was a war zone when that happened.
I'm glad it could have been worse. Hey, I've been driving Uber down here. I've had to pick up some extra money here and there. I got an extra job, and I pick up people going to Philadelphia a lot, and I always talk about sports and whatnot. And I mentioned Jamie Pags, and they said, well, I'm not sure. And I say, Philly sports guy. Oh, yeah, I said that guy. Yeah, he's I know that guy. You're a celebrity, man.
Thing. And that's an amazing thing. I really am. I'm humbled by the fact that people get as excited as they do when they hear my name or they see me on television. It's really a situation that I don't by any means think that I'm like a famous guy or anything like that. I'm just another fan who happens to paint his face. But the way that that everybody looks at me makes it very special, and I am really honored and blessed to be a part of these people's lives that I may not even know. And it really has been awesome. Kind of.
And you got Philly Nation. You've got people that live in Virginia now, and they live down here. They still follow the Eagles games, and they They recognize you. Oh yeah, him. I see him on the promos. Yeah, I love that guy. Yeah, I see. Yeah, man. And you're not too big to come on. I appreciate it, brother.
No, it's not about that. I'm not too big, and that's why I tell people, like, listen, it's been harder lately because everybody wants to get a picture, and sometimes it's overwhelming to me. But I tell people all the time, come up to me, get a picture. I'm approachable. I'm just a fan. I'm just a fan. Just because you've seen me everywhere doesn't mean that I'm like too big for my britches type thing.
You're still a working class guy. Now, last I talked to you, you had a manager. You mentioned in text you got an agent. Is this the same guy or is this somebody different? What's going on with your career? I'm curious about all this.
It's grown. It is absolutely grown. When we spoke a couple years ago, I had just kind of acquired a manager to kind of help me get started on things. Now I have a full-fledged agent that like kind of anytime an offer comes in, I have to kind of pass it off to him because there's so many things that come through that I don't know. Like that's what he does. It's like I kind of, all right, email me and I'll send it to him and we'll be able to get, talk about what's real and what's not. Because it's just so much. Everybody thinks that you could do things for nothing. And as much as I'd love to do everything that I can, really inexpensively, I still have kids to feed and
you got bills.
I can live.
We all got bills. I've been driving Uber on the side. I got the carrier job. I still do this. That's awesome, man. Now, what is an example of something that you've turned down that you thought, well, at first you looked at and then maybe he tried to talk to you into maybe turning down, for example?
Wow. So there are, unfortunately, in certain circumstances, it's like local advertising. When companies come in and they want me to do so much, like they want me for like 3 hours and they want me to do this, and this. And, it's like, okay. And it costs $100. It's like, come on, I can't do it like that anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a strain on me that anywhere that I go now, and again, this is not like touting myself. I'm not.
No, man, it's all real talk here.
Yeah, it's like I am. People want to take pictures. They come, and in some cases, they come in mass. It's like in some cases, I feel like I have a little bit of an idea on what it's like if Brad Pitt decided to go to the supermarket like a normal person.
It's like that now.
It's not
even without your makeup on and stuff.
No. Without the makeup, it's a little easier. I can go.
Okay.
I can still go to the store and do that. I'll have people come up to me and they say that they love my stuff. Will want to take pictures, but it's definitely incognito. Like if I'm wearing a hat, like if you don't see the mohawk, you're not sure it's me or not, and that makes it a little bit easier for that stuff. But for instance, the last time I was in New Orleans. And I was as the Philly sports guy trying to walk down Bourbon Street. It took me 3 hours to walk down 4 blocks.
Dang.
And in the meantime,
what was you in New Orleans for?
The Eagles played there week 3.
Oh, wow. Regular season, huh?
So it was literally just walking down the street took like literally 4 hours. I left my my hotel room an hour early to try to get to a place, and I still wound up 2.5 hours late.
Okay.
To that party because everybody wanted a picture. And
are you getting appearance fees for that too?
I do.
Good, man. Is this a big agent? Are they like CAA or something like that, or what?
No. He's got a number of clients. It's not like anything else. He has like ex-players and such like that. It's like, for instance, I have my agent is the same agent to Corey Clement, who is one of the players who was part of the Philly special.
Yeah.
So he represents the Ertz Foundation. Not
did you
necessarily.
approach him or did he approach you?
I approached him, and
Okay.
like we interviewed, and it's like I said, it was he deals with influencers and such. I just
Okay.
happen to be very good at what I do.
Yeah.
And that makes a big difference because listen, you can have anybody can have an agent.
Yeah.
But if nobody wants you, he's not going to be able to get you work.
Yeah.
So that's part of what I have to do. I have to continue to still putting out social media. I still have to do everything else that I do.
Yeah.
And everybody tells me, man, I see you everywhere.
Right.
I tell you, it's so amazing when I have an athlete, somebody who's like on the Eagles, who tells me, man, I see you everywhere.
Who was that, Clement or Brandon Graham?
Brandon Graham.
I saw him on one of your videos. I'm like, man, you're chummy with that guy.
Yeah, we are a little chummy. Like, we've been in commercials together. Like, the beginning of the season, I was with him and we did a commercial. When he got his surgery, I was there that night and spoke with him and asked how everything went and how everything was going. And now
he's going to play Sunday?
Back on the field.
Is he going to play Sunday?
They're working. They're working. I won't say it. I won't say it for him.
Right.
I think he absolutely wants to. He's chomping at the bit for this. He wants this he wants to be able to play. I can't say whether he's going to or not, though.
You know something, and it helps that the Eagles are so successful, man. I've noticed now just hear me out here. Do you think this approach that Howie Roseman and this staff has taken of being uber aggressive with every player on the staff, as far as like, you had DeAndre Swift last year. Now, instead of, he had 1,000 yards, you've probably seen every one of those yards. He had 200 receiving yards, but then they want to go out and maybe pay some extra money, go after Saquon, ultimately gets 2,000. You had Devontae Smith. You guys went down here, got A.J. Brown, turned out to be a great trade for you, terrible for Tennessee. But you had that influx, that depth that they're building, and nothing against Jalen Hurts, but he wasn't the one overall. He wasn't a John Elway generational type of guy. You look at Sirianni, he's not. I don't know if you're ever going to get him mixed up with Bill Parcells. Do you see other what's your thoughts on that approach? Have you noticed that's their approach? Or is this they're just really good front office and I'm overthinking it?
Listen, it takes everybody. It takes everybody. When it comes to Howie Roseman, obviously he has been a student of this game from the very beginning. I'm hearing stories now on how he would have like a whole draft kit and sit down and watch a draft. And he was a big Jets fan. And he was actually doing the draft as if he was the GM for the Jets.
And in the 90s.
In the 90s when he was in college. So this is something that he's always kind of wanted to do. Yeah. And he's been amazing at it. And I'll tell you, I'm a firm believer on there's a certain way that you have to draft players, and in the first round, you do a couple of things very specifically. They don't make many big men that are good at what they do.
Right.
So obviously he got very lucky when he chose Jordan Mailata in the 7th round.
Wow.
And just grabbed him and did that. That was his 7th round. And I think it was in 2017, or maybe 2018. I'm sorry. It was 2018 because I remember him being a pick.
And he's a starting left tackle.
God. And maybe one of the best in the league.
Yeah.
If not the best, arguably the best in the league. And he didn't know how to play football. He like literally was taught for the first 3 years how to play football.
Man.
And then he solidified the offensive and defensive lines. That was his first goal.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer. You only get in the first round, you get big men for the trenches.
Yeah.
Cornerbacks or quarterbacks. That's it. Getting a wide receiver is not really on my agenda.
Okay.
If I was a GM.
So you were taken back by the Devontae Smith draft pick?
I wasn't. I knew that we needed him. We had a really good line, and everybody was still pretty good. And at that time, we had Fletcher Cox still on the line. We had Brandon Graham. We didn't really need anybody on the offensive or defensive line because they were pretty strong. When they got Devonta Smith, they got him so that the Giants wouldn't get him.
Okay.
When they got AJ Brown, they traded for that, but they also got their offensive lineman.
Gotcha.
Again, same situation this year. They needed to go cornerback, and they wound up getting the two best cornerbacks in the draft.
Yes, I talked about that with the Mad New York. I couldn't believe they got Dijon and Quentin Mitchell. They're very good, but do you see other teams taking that approach where, and obviously you got to have your owner behind you, where we're going to just stack this roster, I think they're the most aggressive team in the league, if you ask me.
They are. I feel like that, Saquon Barkley was something that fell into their laps. That was a unique situation. It helped that they had the cap space to be able to sign him.
Yeah.
When I think of other teams that do exactly what we're talking about here, I think of the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Chiefs' offensive line and defensive line are stacked.
That's true.
Now, Andy Reid doesn't put as much stock in the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Now, he had to a little bit. He's got Xavier. He's got DeAndre
Hopkins from here, yeah.
You know what I mean? They've had good receivers, but you saw last year when they didn't have those good receivers, he was lucky to kind of make it happen the way that he did. So I mean, he obviously needs all of the pieces to be a successful team. And there's a reason why the Chiefs have won 3 of the last 4 years and are going to possibly try to three-peat.
Yeah. Yeah. How do you see this thing playing out? Well, okay, what do they need to do to win this game? I know you're pretty detail-oriented. What does Philadelphia – what is your game plan to win this game come Sunday?
You have to smack him in the mouth. Okay. You have to do the things that you have done all season long. And that's when I look at what's happened this year at Kansas City, they've played a lot of close games. They have not been as guarded with the football. They do have the ability to give it up a little bit.
Yeah.
And they still have Patrick Mahomes. They still have Travis Kelce. They do have weapons at the receiver position. So the offense can always make something happen. You got a defense that, they have that really good cornerback on the one side, and then they got that lineman Jones, who is a beast.
McDuffie.
Yeah, McDuffie and Jones. Obviously, they're the ones that run that defense, and they've been really strong. However, I don't feel that they've played an offensive line like ours. I don't feel like they've played an offense like ours. And I also believe that they haven't come across a defense like ours. There's a reason why that we're the number 1 defense in the league. And
where do you rank this defense with the other great Eagle teams that you've seen, Jamie?
So growing up in the 80s, I remember the Gang Green defense.
I forgot about them guys.
And that's they were a great defense. They just didn't have the offense behind them to do the things that they needed to do to be able to win some of these games. I feel that this is a much better offense like that. But that being said, we've got the number 1 defense in the league. We also have the youngest defense in the league. Yeah. And that is super exciting.
Is this defense better? Is this the best defense of this millennium, Jamie?
Yeah, I think without a doubt.
Okay, because you've had some good ones in the 2000s.
Yeah, well, and I think that like, can I put them? They haven't won a championship yet, so there's something to be said for that. I mean, when you're talking about some of the greatest defenses that have played, I mean, you're thinking of the Ravens defense that have been.
Well, I'm talking about just the Eagles,
Well, but I think about like all the greatest.
Oh yeah, yes, the 2000 Ravens, yes.
Yeah, the 2000 Ravens.
They beat our
the Legion of Boom. The Legion of Boom defense.
Yeah.
Some of the Steelers defenses that were out there. I mean, dare I say the Giants defense when they stopped Brady with the undefeated season. That they came on strong at the end when everybody started to get healthy. Like those are great defenses that were able to get over the hump and win championships.
Yes.
Our team hasn't done that yet. We haven't won the championship yet. So I'm not just saying, okay, we are crowning ourselves the best.
Right.
We have to be the best. You have to beat the best. And that's what it's going to take on Sunday. We have to beat them, but they have to just do exactly what they've done all season long. You can't let Mahomes start to get a little wild and be able to run everywhere. You got to stay in your lane. You got to be able to make the tackles. You got to be able to continue to cause fumbles. Those are the things that are going to create wins. Jalen Hurts is not going to can't turn the ball over. Saquon Barkley has got to just be a Saquon Barkley. You know what I mean? He's going to be, in 30 yards, he's going to be the all-time leader of, rushing yards in a season for any running back ever.
Man.
And all of that's super exciting. But it's going to be his birthday too. It's his birthday.
Well, how old is he now? 28?
He'll be 28. That's
a guess off the top of my head.
On the 9th. So
now I want to win. Sunday. You know what? You're my favorite Philly sports fan. Now, I've seen some of these videos. I'm sure you have too. Of this guy berating this Green Bay Packer fan, this woman. Did you hear that? And they kicked him out for good. What do you think about stories like that, man?
So unfortunately, beyond everything else, social media is a real thing. And there's more to the story, obviously, that that obviously didn't come out. But that being said, it was ridiculous for him to say that type of stuff. And for somebody like myself who goes out of his way to try to make sure that, hey, listen, I don't need to. The Eagles are not my mother. I don't need to defend their honor. I pay a lot of money to go to these games. And I've been to every game this year.
Yeah.
All 20 games the Eagles have played. When we were down in Brazil, I was there. When LA, I was there. And New Orleans, I was there. When I go to New Orleans again, I'm going to be there. I'm going to be 21 games. And I try my best to be a good sport about things, that I want to show Philadelphia in the best light possible. And when there's those types of situations, no matter what the backstory is, do you really need to talk to somebody that way? That way I felt like it was uncalled for. And it was, it was an unfortunate situation all the way around.
Right.
Obviously, the guy who put that video out there went dark and quiet afterwards because they didn't show what led up to that. The guy was trying to goad him a little bit. But listen, if you're going to get goaded, you're going to get goaded. You know what I mean? That's what happens. You're going to wind up, I usually tell people, if you don't involve yourself with an idiot, you don't have to be an idiot.
Right.
I usually use a little bit worse language in that, but
nobody has approached you and tried you since the last I've talked to you from other teams or some drunk guy or anything.
All the time.
Wow.
But you know what? I don't let people get under my skin like that. It's like if you want to talk smack, if you want to curse at me, that just means that you don't know how to banter. Once you start cursing to me, I've won. Yeah. Because I don't need to curse at you. I don't need, it's not about you personally. I think that my team's going to beat your team, and that's it.
That's it. It ain't that personal,
right?
Yeah,
and that's where I feel like that there's differences between the people that are these diehard fans. You add some alcohol, and then you start losing a banter session, and then it's like you almost have to start to attack them personally. And this isn't just Philly fans; this is fans everywhere.
Oh yeah,
and like I said, I all the different things. And I'm only going to use the Chiefs as the example because they happen to be the other team in this game. I mean, I've heard plenty of stories where the fights have been ungodly, where I've heard of deaths at that stadium. That nothing gets promoted like that, like it does in Philly. Philly is the low-hanging fruit.
Hey, so you've never really felt threatened where you thought it was going to get out of hand?
No. And the moment that I feel that way, I bring in security. Because the truth of the matter is, that I am wearing pads.
Yeah.
And I don't drink during the game. So I have always a level head. I have to. Because especially when you're in an opposing team stadium, if somebody starts to get too belligerent, there's kids around. I'm trying to set a good example. And if the moment that I fight with somebody, plus I'm not a small guy. I'm a stonemason by trade. This is a big hand. You know what I mean? I could possibly hurt somebody, and it's not about that. I don't want to try to do that.
That's good.
It's more important to me. Like, listen, if you've got that big of a problem, we're going to bring security down here, and we're going to see how that problem gets resolved. Because I don't need to fight anybody.
Right.
Because I got pads on. They don't have pads on. I'm protected in certain ways.
Right.
And I don't need to. I don't need to do that. And most people, the good thing is that most people know. They know what kind of fan I am.
Right.
And even opposing fans, like even when they start to banter at me and they want to yell at me and stuff like that, there's other fans that will come to my defense because they know that all it is fun for me. This is a fun thing.
Do you have any groupie chicks? Do you ever have?
No.
Do you have like the rock star treatment there?
I
had to ask that.
They all want to take pictures, and I take every game. Every game, I'll take somewhere between 1,000 on a very light game to like this past game. I had to take every bit of about 500 to 7,500 pictures, and there's 60,000 fans. So when you're taking that many pictures, obviously it's tough to get anywhere and do anything. And like I'm I had to start telling people like, yo, there's a game going on. I gotta watch the game. I can't be out here taking pictures with you guys.
Yeah. Have you dated any chicks that you've met at the game?
No. I do not bring dates to the game. I do not bring dates to the game. Because any date that I bring to a game becomes camera girl.
Okay.
Yeah, they become
because they're taking the pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just so it's not fun like that.
Yeah.
Like they become a worker.
Well, I figured you turn into a rock star. I figured you might have some rock star like treatment,
there's times where things happen better than normal. I mean, I'm but it's I like I said, I am a single guy, but it's
so am I, brother. So am I. And I met a lot of women just doing Uber, so I was thinking, I wonder how he's going to all these games. He's probably meeting women everywhere.
I do meet women everywhere. I do meet them everywhere, but it's hard to date me because you have to compete not just with the Eagles, but with the Phillies and the Flyers and the Sixers and the Union and the Wings and the Phoenix and
you're traveling a lot.
Yeah, I'm always somewhere. It's the only way people say that they see me everywhere is because I'm everywhere.
You're like, where's Waldo? How does this game play out Sunday, Jamie? What's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen?
I have this. I firmly believe, and I might be overconfident here, but I firmly believe that the Eagles win this kind of going away.
Really?
I think that they just have a much better team. And listen, this is obviously me. This isn't the Eagles themselves. They got to go out and play this game. This is the best team. There's never been a team that's had the opportunity to three-peat, and here the Chiefs are. So, and you have to beat the champs to be the champs. And I think that this team is ready. They're focused. They are ironclad. And I think that the Chiefs have gotten lucky in some of their games. Yes. I know that they've gotten better at the end of the season here, but they haven't come across a team like the Eagles. And I think that this is I will be nervous if it's close at the end, because that's how the Chiefs win their games, very close at the end. But I kind of believe that this is going to be a 2-score game, that it won't matter what the refs do. If the refs have that type of say, it won't matter.
Right.
Because the Eagles are going to do what the Eagles
You're saying that D line's going to overpower that O line.
I say that.
That's the angle I'm seeing, perhaps.
And I see what's it been like 13 games this year in a row, or they haven't let up a 100-yard rusher. They haven't it's been 28 games in a row that a team hasn't scored more than 27 points or 30 points against them. Like even the Bills only scored 29 points. And taking away the one game that's I think that the Broncos had, because that's not a real game to be able to choose that at. Yeah. But I think it was like 28 games in a row that they stopped other teams scoring from 30 points. I think that this is the Eagles' statement game, that they are the best team in the NFL, and it doesn't matter who we play, we're winning this game.
Man. Okay, what's the score, Jamie?
I have it 36-24.
Wow. I was going to say 34-20. I'm just thinking of just putting that in my head. That's just what you're saying. Wow. I'll save that and I will clip it, especially if it comes to fruition. Let me ask you one more off-topic question, man. Luka, because you're an NBA guy. Luka Doncic was traded to the Lakers. What are your thoughts on something? Man, that's like Babe Ruth to the Red Sox, or from the Red Sox to the Yankees. What are your thoughts on a trade like that, man?
I wonder what's going on over there. I feel like that there is more to this story than is leaked out.
Same here, yeah.
There's something going on over there that has created the ability for them
more than the weight problems with Luka. He's blossoming.
Yeah, this is more of a I don't like you. I don't like your attitude. I don't like anything, and we're going to just get rid of you.
Yeah,
and that's what I think happened. It's odd. It's very odd. But there is a lot of this going on now. Like, where's Jimmy Butler going to wind up at? What's like he keeps getting suspended from the team because he just don't want to be there anymore. And that's the problem with the NBA. I feel like the NBA, because the inmates run the asylum there, you can be this guy who doesn't want to play anymore. And at that point, it's, you wind up screwing your team over. Like he's done in Miami, and like Luka may have been doing in Dallas. And, it's like I feel like Joel Embiid right now is doing with the Sixers.
I was about to say, one report says that the team was afraid this was going to be a Joel Embiid situation, Jamie.
Yeah, it's quite possible. I mean, listen, the CBA comes up. I don't know if it's this year or next year. There's going to be some changes. I said before that they're going to wind up having the Simmons rule, the Ben Simmons rule, that they are going to now give some power back to the owners. That when these players decide that they don't want to play anymore, they don't have to get paid anymore. There's going to be this rule coming, and the CBA is going to have to kowtow to that a little bit, because these players are getting paid tons of money. And to have these types of problems, That's because it's just, they have not been able to put a hold on things.
Those guaranteed contracts, Jamie. What do you
Correct.
think about? I think that's a problem. I think that these coaches like Steve Kerr and Greg Popovich wanting to lecture people on social causes and politics at press conferences. What's that all about, man? That's insane. This is recently in the last few months.
Truth of the matter is, I don't listen to any of that.
No, I
don't
know.
To any of that. You could say whatever you want. Hey, listen, you're allowed to have your opinion, and if somebody's going to give you a platform to say it, you could say it. I don't care, but I don't have to listen. I don't have to believe like you do.
Right.
And if you think that, if you got a feeling because I don't believe like you do, that's your fault, not mine.
But him having that Spurs logo in the background and him going on about the current president who was in the election, why don't the owners step up and say, hey, listen, if you want to run for governor or whatever, go run for governor. Why do you have to use our logo and the National Basketball Association logo to promote that stuff?
Well, because people are who they are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's, hey, listen, you don't like the president? Tough. Guess what? You could have ran yourself, but you didn't. You're too busy being a coach on a team that stinks. Maybe Popovich, I know you won all your championships, but maybe if you spent more time worrying about your team would be better. Instead, you're too busy crying about what you have no control over. You know what you control? You can vote. You can tell everybody to vote your way. You know what? You lost. Tough. Stop crying.
That's how I got me. Yeah, it's stuff like that. It's a 3 points. It's a load management. And the stuff at Jimmy Butler. Also, you didn't throw Zion Williamson saw multiple times at a Wendy's when he's supposed to be at practice.
Joel Embiid not playing, doing handstands at practice.
Oh, God.
And that's the other thing. I got an owner in Philadelphia who decided that he wanted to try to hold the city hostage. Oh, we're going to build a new stadium downtown, do whatever, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Nothing. He played out his hand, hold the city hostage, want to move to Camden or whatever, gets everybody in an uproar because he wants more money. You know what I want you? I want you to sell the team because I don't want my owner of any one of my Philly sports teams to own a team in another city or actually 2 other cities.
Yeah, he does.
About you. And I'll do whatever I can to make sure that nobody goes to the games, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, so the people are out on this guy.
I hate him. I can't stand him.
And this is the guy that owns the Commanders?
Yep.
Okay.
I want him to sell the team. I am not a fan. I used to be quiet about it. I'm not quiet about it anymore. After he held the city hostage, he reminded me of Norman Brayman back in the 80s when he was threatening to move the Eagles to Phoenix or whatever because he didn't like the cold weather. You know what I mean? And that's what he kind of did to us here too. And now he's got a product on the court that stinks out loud, because he's too busy worrying about the Devils. And he's too busy worrying about the Commanders. Well, you know what? Worry about those teams and keep with those teams and sell the Sixers because I don't want you as my owner. I don't want you here in Philly.
Does the fans feel that way, Jamie?
Huh?
Do the fans feel that way? All of them?
There's more fans that feel my way than don't.
Wow. See, I didn't know it was like that with him.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. I was if the game was any different at the NFC Championship game, we kept scoring points like every 5 minutes, so it was hard to do. But I wanted to do a sell the Sixers chant.
Like, people backed off James Dolan, but it was like that with James Dolan for a while in New York. He was kicking people out for saying sell the team.
Well, you know what? He could kick me out when I show up there. I haven't shown up yet because football, rules Philadelphia.
Yeah, man. Well, I like to see him win more than one way now. I love to see the Eagles win this game. I mean, a big portion of the country's pulling for the Eagles. They're fatigued with the Chiefs.
Yeah. That the Chiefs have become villains. You know what? I don't really look at them like that. I look at them as like, listen,
Got to beat them.
They have played within the confines of the rules. Now, those rules are going to start to change because of it. They're going to come up with the Mahomes rule. You're not going to be able to stop at the line and then go, oh.
No, I hate it when he does that.
Yeah, it's like
he's turned into a basketball player, Jamie.
Right, the flop rule. They're going to come up with the flop rule.
Body divots.
So, and I'm not a big fan of that type of play. But listen, you know what? You got to beat him. The rule hasn't changed yet. I'm used to seeing how these rules play out. The Sixers a couple of years ago lost to Atlanta because
I remember
that rule, because they didn't have the rule where if you ran into the guy and shot the ball.
Oh, I hate that rule.
Well, they had to change it. They changed it. So, and that's the only reason why he was able to win that series, because the rule was
that freaking Kobe Bryant used to do that constantly.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. So, how many follows you got now, man? What are you up to?
Well, at TikTok, I have over 300,000. And in Instagram, I have like 110,000.
Woo! The famous Jamie Sports Guy, Jamie Pags. Hopefully, hey, man, if they win, could you come back on, brother?
Yeah, once I get back home and and I chill for a second, because I tell you, it's going to be tough. I'm obviously the parade's going to happen, but I could definitely get there. I get back home on Monday afterwards. Win or lose, I'll come back on. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. You got the energy, man, and I'm surprised you got all this energy, man.
I am so chomping at the bit, and I'm running on adrenaline. I am really running on adrenaline.
When you do lay down, I bet you sleep like a rock, don't you?
No, I can't sleep at all right now. Like I'm so giddy and excited that it's been so much. It's like I gotta. Yeah, like I'm trying to calm down as much as possible, but I'm like really raring to go.
Stoked, huh? Do you think they'll tear up the city afterwards?
No.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun.
Didn't he jump off a pole or something, or some student?
Yeah, a kid fell off a pole. It's like obviously they're going to grease the poles to try to keep people off of it. That kid, that 18-year-old that fell. I think put the fear of people like, hey, listen, this is dangerous. Nobody had died beforehand.
Okay. Okay.
And I think now that put a little bit more fear into things, and you're going to see the cops and everybody start to
be downtown Philadelphia,
a little bit more protective about that type of stuff.
That's good to hear, man. Did you ever do stuff like that in the 80s?
No. I didn't need to climb poles. So, but like, listen, championships were different. Like in the early 80s, I was still a young kid, so now, like in the 90s when we won, like I'm trying to think of, like in 93 when we went to the World Series, we didn't win the World Series.
But you got there though.
Yeah. So there was excitement, but there was not that finality. In 2017, it was crazy. In 2008, when the Phillies won, it was crazy. So I think that it will be crazy, but hopefully everybody will be safe.
Okay, man, you're a pretty mature dude, man.
I try.
Even though you got that young spirit.
Oh, I'm super excited, but I also know I'm not climbing a pole. You're not going to see me up there.
You're not turning no cars over, are you?
Nope. I ain't interested in any of that. I've even said that I'm not even sure I would go on Bourbon Street afterwards. Just because I'm afeared for my safety.
It's crowded down there.
If we win, it's going to be a madhouse.
Mm.
I just, I don't know that I need to be there. I want to just be, like I said, I want to be safe. I want to make sure that everybody around me is safe. And that might mean that I'm not there. I'll be celebrating with a bunch of Eagles fans, just not right there.
Exactly, brother. All right, man. Appreciate it. Let me give you Thank you for watching the program. I'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place here on the Real Sports Scope.